Andrea Tessmann.
Kirk Buchner.
In October 1963, there were a bunch of kids and they made their way to a place called the Sugar Shack. And it's not a metaphor for anything.
I was so disappointed in that. I thought this was going to be like a love shack. Like, nope.
Or like Sheena Easton's Sugar Walls. Did it really mean something else?
Yeah. There's so much that could be done with it, but it was 1963.
It was. I mean, you could still do double entendre, but there was just entendre, I suppose.
Oh, man. So, I mean, I picked the song because it's catchy. It's still catchy 60 years later.
So was COVID.
Oh, way to ruin an airline is call something Delta and then Delta Plus. It's COVID, but with more legroom.
Hey, it's true story. Corona beer took a major pounding.
I believe that.
Yeah, I still have a Corona T-shirt. I still get people coming up. You got the virus. I live in Barbados, so for anyone wondering why I would sort of do that horrific island accent, a la Bobby McFerrin from last week, that's sort of why I went there. But yeah, the Sugar Shack. I guess before we get into the history of Jimmy Gilmer and the Fireballs, I'll give you my sort of like personal thing on this particular song. So usually I've got a bit of a story from my own personal recollection. I wasn't live in '63, of course, despite my advancing age, but I remember hearing the song in a movie in the early '90s. I could be off of when this came out, but I was a budding cinephile, which I'm no longer that anymore. But it was used in a film called Dogfight with River Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was River Phoenix. And the whole point of Dogfight is, I never even heard of that thing before, but I guess it's like the version of the pig party. All right, so that's where where guys, and I guess women can do that too. They have a contest to bring the ugliest date.
Okay, fair.
So River Phoenix his character was going to the military, or about to ship off, and then he meets Lily Taylor. It was this. Well, I don't remember the name of her character, nor do I give a shit. But that was the actress who later would become more famous for like going absolutely ape shit on her then boyfriend / husband, or I don't know if husband, Michael Rappaport. Either way, I thought this was a catchy song. Try to find out what it was, and I did. But who are these guys? Who's Jimmy Gilmer? There's not that much about this guy.
No, he doesn't even have a Wikipedia page.
No. Pretty much all we really learned, and I listened to a bit of the Fireballs music. They were an instrumental band out of New Mexico, which is interesting. I know what a Tex-Mex sound is. I don't know what a New Mex sound is. I guess it's this.
This is such bubblegum, teeny bopper, light R&B from the 60s. Like, so this song, it could have been made by anyone. Sounds just like every other, like it could have been that Archie's song we did.
Very much so.
It's a formula, but this one specifically marks the end of an era.
Yeah, it does. It does. This group, even itself, they were doomed from the start, because they were an instrumental group, and Gilmer apparently was one of them. And then he would just sometimes sing, the way I understood it.
I thought he was taken on later. They lost a few members, and then they brought him on as the lead.
I think both, but I mean, most of their songs before this in the late '50s, and I listened to a few, and they're I mean, like, if you're gonna listen to late '50s instrumentals, just go for the surf sound, and don't bother with anything else, frankly, or just go into some Coltrane or just some good kick-ass jazz. Or
Yeah.
Booker T and the MGs. That could be one to look at some point. As you can see, I got my Zappa t-shirt on. I'm trying to like wash the thing off of this bubblegum shit. And so the song itself, I mean, what do we really have? Gilmer's voice is eh.
And his way of expressing the song is eh. It's too bubblegum. Everything about this song is too bubblegum. It's catchy. Don't get me wrong. I actually kind of enjoy the song in a
but
weird
it's
way.
not because of him.
No.
And
It's actually my favorite thing about this song is that crazy synth line.
Moi aussi, my second time using a bit of French. But yeah, so I guess before we go to the solo box, I learned that's what it was called, the instrument. I never heard of that before. And I'm a big devotee or trying to learn a lot more about instrumental music, especially the whole synth era. I've just been I've gone back to a new wave kick. So I've been like studying up just how it got there. But I wanted to sort of like touch on these lyrics, so just because they are so nondescript. Just starting off, there's a crazy little shack beyond the tracks. And you think, okay, this could be going somewhere, like a bit of behind the green door vibe. But it doesn't. And everybody calls it the Sugar Shack. Okay, that sounds like a strip club. I'm down. All right, let's check it out. And then we learn right away it's not. It's a coffee house. It's a goddamn coffee.
Espresso at this coffee house, apparently.
And
he's got the best thing about this coffee shop is this girl that works there. And then the rest of this song is about how he starts dating her, they get married, and then their whole life ambition is to go back to this nondescript coffee shop.
Well, I guess that's sort of what happened back then. I mean, I met my wife online. I can't go back to her where we met online. So I guess this sort of works for it. But that goes to what did make this a hit. Because you get right into that solo box right away, even after the first line. I think I read a review where they kind of refer to this as like a whistle, which it kind of is.
It really does sound like he's just got a jaunty little whistle going on.
Yes. There's a crazy little shack beyond the tracks. And then it just repeats that at the end of that. And then right after it's all in the chorus. You take that out or play that in anything else, this song is done. It's dead. This is, I totally think.
I gotta say, the bass line is really fun too.
It is, but it's not going to be a number one song without it.
Yeah. No, not at all.
Yeah, the opening bass line. I agree with you. But then this was October 1963. I thought when it was originally when you picked it, for whatever reason, I thought this was a few years earlier in that real weird dead zone of where nothing, and this is still the dead zone.
Yeah. The thing was, this hit, even if it was 6 months to a year later, it would have flopped. Yeah. Because it's literally a product of its time. And it's a little bit of that throwback to a few years earlier. And then
two big things happened.
Well, I was going to say the British invasion happened.
Yeah.
But what were you going to say?
Well, right after this song fell off of number one, and I know we've touched on this before, but American society got a lot less innocent with the assassination of John F. Kennedy. And this was certainly not I don't know if this was the third or fourth assassination. Lincoln, McKinley. I don't know. But it was the first one on TV that you could watch on news.
Oh yeah, it was televised murder. Like,
yes,
it was groundbreaking and extremely disturbing, and it was the end of an era of innocence too.
It was exactly. It was that the innocence was a lot of gone. Just JFK died. It doesn't work.
No.
A whole lot of things. This ushered in so much I don't want to say darkness because rock and roll hadn't got there yet, but when you look at the October 1963 and October 1969, you can't believe that 6 years passed, even though Sugar Sugar happened in 1970, but everything else around it, because at that point, hey, maybe we need a little bit of saccharine back in our life, you know? Because bubblegum came back late 60s, early 70s.
Oh, and it always will. I mean, you look at modern day and we have our own version of bubblegum. We sometimes people need a break from reality to accept the just ridiculous, saccharine, meaningless shit. Like, you know what? Let's just disassociate and listen to some do 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 do.
Do you think that if this song was like 2 years earlier, that maybe it gets into the, because you don't even see the song in compilation albums when they used to sell a lot of those from the era, like it's non-existent.
No, because I think it was too late. I think it would have fit very well in, but I think that it gets forgotten because it's just a little bit later.
And because it's got completely ignored. Like how, and I thought about this, how is it that because I was very much in tune with music for, especially at that, since the late 80s and trying to do my history and whatnot, but I never even heard of that until the movie. And this was a monster hit.
Yeah. 2 weeks at #1 and apparently all over the airwaves.
Yeah.
And it was Billboard's #1 single of the year or something.
I think so. Yeah. Or close to. So it's a victim of its time and a product of its time. If that makes any sense. It's both.
Yeah.
2 years too late to sort of like get into that. What's that era of Dion, not Dion, Dion a bit. The Frankie Val, not Frankie Valley, Frankie Avalon. No, I don't mean Frankie Valley, because that's Four Seasons. I never want to talk about them, by the way. I hate those guys.
I'll keep that in mind if I feel like torturing you.
Fair enough.
No, and I really agree with that. I think it's both successful because of when it came out, but also
a victim
of it.
Yeah.
But it has been featured in several movies. And also the Muppets did it.
You told me that before we went on.
Muppets, I should have sent this to you, but it was the Muppets Beach Vacation. And
that movie? I don't remember this.
I think it was just a record. Because the only thing I found was just an audio track with like an image. And basically it's like they're at the beach and they're hungry. And then Gonzo's like, hey, I know a place. And he starts singing about the Sugar Shack. But of course, there's a crazy little chicken. And he's stalling and everybody's getting mad at him because they're all hungry. And he's singing about this chicken that
he wants to choke.
It's Gonzo. Didn't we go over this? That Gonzo's got a thing for the chickens?
Yeah, but I think we did that off air. I don't think we actually talked about it. Yeah, which is like, it's basically bestiality in our childhood and we never noticed it.
You know what, though? Gonzo's not human.
Okay.
So.
All right, okay. Since we're here. Yeah, Gonzo's not human. But at least when the frog's doing the pig, the frog and the pig can actually have conversations. They can connect on all these deep levels. All the chickens in the Muppet universe just cluck.
How do you know Gonzo doesn't understand the clucking?
But when you understand the clucking, you understand the fucking. All right, there goes the G rating.
Oh, Kirk. Also, isn't Gonzo an alien? So who's to say who's the most intelligent? Well, no, I'm pretty sure it's not chickens, but
it's not the one who wants to sleep with chickens. He's not the most intelligent Muppet. There's no way. Kermit is because he's the boss. It's so simple.
Fair. It's definitely not Miss Pig. It could be Animal,
That could be Animal. Okay, yeah, Animal might be.
I'm thinking Animal probably is the most intelligent, but has just done way too many drugs.
I always think about stuff like that when I look at my dog and he looks super intelligent, and I think, he's actually got a plan for this whole problem in Afghanistan, but God damn it, he can only emote and barks, and we're too dumb to understand it. And then he goes.
Also, I'm pretty sure I've witnessed him eating poo.
Yeah. But after he does that, he looks at it and says, "Hey, you want some?" But yeah, there's also that. I don't know how we got from this to the Muppets.
Anyways, because Sugar Shack, about the crazy little shack with the chicken. So yeah, I don't have a whole lot else to say about this song. It's a catchy tune that's the product of its era.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that is like, everybody's sort of heard it, because you hear it, you're like, that sounds familiar. But it's not at the forefront of anybody's brain.
I think it just got flushed down the toilet almost right away because of just when it came out.
Yeah.
I think it really hurt too, because let's say it came out October 61, and you're a rock and roll station or whatever the version of rock is, you don't have that many records to play. So maybe you're playing that maybe a little bit longer than its shelf life. And it sort of embeds more in your consciousness, because when something happens, you forget stuff really quickly. Sort of topical right now, you probably saw Nirvana, what's going on with that, the Nevermind.
Nevermind with the kid, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Nirvana was the band that killed virtually any hair metal band, with the exception of Bon Jovi. Poison lasted a year, and Def Leppard, and everyone else died. They were completely irrelevant. So, I mean, we could talk about Mr. Big that went #1, and then boom, no one wanted to hear that song anymore because they traded all that stuff in for the Nirvana, Pearl Jam, Soundgarden, and anything else that had an edge. This is the same.
Yeah, it's that transition, and it's really impressive how rapidly it changed from this bubblegum bullshit to, I mean, the Beatles and the British pop rock, but then that also quickly transitioned, and you had like some pretty hard rock, like deep, meaningful political music that came very shortly after this. And you wouldn't think that they're only a couple of years apart. So it's an interesting time.
No, very much so. Yeah, we got a lot more out of this song than I ever thought we would. Thanks,
Me
Gonzo.
too. I a few days ago was like, we'll be talking for like 3 minutes, and then that'll be it.
But it's going to be more for the next one.
So what are we doing next?
We've avoided this one. I think I know I did. You probably did too, perhaps. I don't know. Actually, I think the same year as Mr. Big with their one hit. And this is a pseudo request. I talked to my good friend Michelle Morris, and I said, "Okay, you pick one." So I let her pick this. I made her pick the year, and then I rattled off all the ones. And then as soon as she heard this one, that's the one you're doing. So 1992. Are You Too Sexy?
Oh man, this has been in the back of my mind as like, if I couldn't decide on something, I was pulling this one out.
Yeah.
Little Right Said Fred.
Right Said Fred. It's been dissected a lot by a lot of people, and now it's going to be dissected by us because
I'm too sexy for my party. Too sexy for this party. No way, I'm disco dancing.
Yeah, which sort of ties in with Gonzo because, at one point this guy was too sexy for his cat.
Poor pussy. Poor pussy cat.
But we'll get there.
Oh man, this is gonna be fun.
And I might have lined up a potential guest, but I'll tell you about that off air. We'll see.
So, but before we go,
yeah,
you mentioned to me that we maybe had some hate mail.
Oh shit! Yeah, I got yes. We did. We got a hate comment.
Our first ever hate mail.
Comment. Well, I thought for sure this was gonna like all hatred would be directed towards me, because usually it is. So yeah, so here's what we got. So this is from I'm not even gonna say, yeah, who cares what your name
I care
is.
his name about as much as I care his opinion, but let's talk about it.
It might be a her.
Or her.
I'm assuming so because the avatar is a cat. A pussy.
Oh, pussy cat.
which might sort of tell you about what her best friend is. Anyway, and this is regarding Captain and Tennille that we just did, regarding Love Will Keep Us Together. So here's the response. Well, it went #1 because it's a great song, perfectly produced piece of pop gold. Okay, I'll give you the well produced. I'll give you that. Still
Definitely
love it.
well produced.
Still love it today. Obviously, you idiots, you and me, we're the idiots. Don't know anything. That's why you're still small time. Okay, yeah, we're small time. I'll take that. That's fine. Go back.
What, honey? She's listening to us.
That's true, but it gets better. There is a final piece of advice is for us to go back to the crevice in which we came from. I went back to that crevice and yeah, your mom's ass isn't the way I remembered it. Anyway, so that's my response on that.
You know what? I live on Vancouver Island. We are on an active fault. There's a good chance the world will split underneath me at any given time. So Miss Cat Lady or Mr. Catman, I may fall into a crevice if there is a massive earthquake. So,
but it won't be, but it's not the one you came from.
It's not the one I came from.
Yeah. Yeah. No. So there's that. I actually enjoyed this. This was.
I like it. Yeah. If anybody else wants to send us hate mail, please do.
Sure.
Any sort of mail. Just tell us you're actually here and listening, and we're not just talking into the void.
Which makes you sort of wonder. So in 2021, there was this person who was actively searching for Love Will Keep Us Together.
Hey, you know what? To each their own.
Absolutely. Absolutely. If I can just end with a bit more self-promotion, my book is now out. The book I wrote for Chavo Guerrero Sr., a pro wrestler who passed away a few years ago. Finally, that's out. You can get that on Amazon. Chavo Guerrero, instant classic by Chavo Guerrero and Kirk Buchner. With Kirk Buchner. I'm there in the bottom right. But Chavo's no longer with us, so I'm going to have to do a bit of the promotional thing for him. It's a great little story about a pro wrestler who went to the main evented everywhere and is pretty open about his screw-ups. And he talks a lot about that. Yeah. Sex, drugs, and pro wrestling. And yeah. And I just finished editing. This crap was on national television. I didn't edit that much. I really didn't put that much effort into it, frankly.
You never edit that much. That's why our show's crap.
Thank you.
It's fun crap, though. Well, usually we don't need a whole lot of editing until we start.
What am I gonna do? Like pay to overdub some of the sounds off this? I don't have that time. Hey, if someone out there wants to produce this for us, please. I'll pay you in.
Well wishes.
Sure.
Thoughts and prayers.
And Andrea's got that great house on an island. I got a house on an island. There we go. One of us will put you up. We'll probably pick you for that, especially. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know where I'd go with that. Though, yeah, maybe some dirty comment. I want to see your sugar shack. Sorry.
So everybody, listen to all of Kirk's other podcasts. There's many.
Yeah, I'm entertaining.
Book.
Sometimes I'm sober too.
Sometimes.
Yeah, the one I was actually looking for was The Pilot of the Master, featuring a young Demi Moore. Kirk was not sober during that. As I'm sort of noticing, I repeat myself an awful lot. And I do a lot of this as I review a bad show. And then he did this.
I got no words. How about we just tell the kind folks good night?
Yeah, I think at that point, we're pretty much done. All right. Don't go changing, everyone.